Nearly every state in the country has made cuts to public employee pensions. Unfortunately, the cuts don't make a dent in the nearly $1 trillion shortfall. So how do we get into this situation? And more importantly, what does this mean for the U.S. economy and your bottom line? Ed Butowsky is managing partner of Chapwood Investments, and he joins us now. Thanks for joining us, Ed.
Great. It's great to see you, Heather.
So how did things get so out of control?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's very typical. I mean, you know, one thing to remember, corporations, prior to 1980, corporations, 80% of them had defined benefit plans, because that's what a pension plan is. It's a defined benefit that you're going to get when you retire. So now, corporations, there's about only 10% that have defined benefit plans, but all of these state, city, municipalities have defined benefit plans, which means that there is a defined benefit that they're going to get, every individual is going to get when they retire. So how it got so bad was a lot of different things. The investments and how they invested that money didn't keep up with exactly what their, what they had as obligations. In addition to that, less money was being put into it. So there's really two sources, Heather. One, the investments didn't keep up on what they needed to keep up to because we had a bad economy and we've had a lot of people living longer and taking money out of this. But additionally, there wasn't more tax revenue going into it. So we have, an unsustainable situation, and it's going to be dealt with in one way, and that is austerity measures. And that's what's going to take place.
Well, these new laws that we've tried so far, they've trimmed just $100 billion out of the $900 billion or so gap between, what the states and their workers put into the retirement plans and what the states owe in retirement benefits. So how do we best dig out of the hole? What you were just saying?
Well, look, it's going to take a lot of things. I mean, some of these people are going to have to come to the realization that there's not enough money there to meet the obligations that or the responsibilities that the pension told them that they were going to meet. You just have just north of you in New Paltz, New York. Last year, the teachers actually froze their salary increase. Even though they knew they were going to get an increase, they said, we can't sustain this. So New Paltz, New York took some austerity measures. Every place around the country is going to have that happen. And what it's going to take, Heather, is conversation, education, and two minds coming together to solve a problem. But you can't just make money out of thin air. At least some people can't, right? and some of these people, they have to understand that instead of getting 100% of what they were promised, maybe they're going to get 90% of it, but it's going to be there for the long run. Yeah,
teachers, police, firefighters, other public workers, it affects all of them. So what does it mean for the economy overall?
Yeah. Well, what it means for the economy is there's going to be a strain. So, if you have an obligation and your cost of living is increasing at a certain level and you can't get that money out of your pension, a lot of people, Heather, are going to then turn to the government entitlement programs. So we're going to have a ripple effect. The solution? Let's get the economy going. Let's get more tax dollars into these pensions, because that's really where a lot of this money comes from, is a strong economy. And also, I do a lot of consulting on endowments and foundations and pension plans. And a lot of these pensions are going to have to start taking a little greater risk with their money. Many of them, Heather, are sitting there in treasury bills that are earning 1%, and they actually have to make 10 to 14% to get back to being solvent. So there's going to be a lot of different things that are going to take place, and this is a problem that's going to be around at least for the next 5, 10, 15 years in a lot of places. We're going to have a lot of marches, a lot of discussions, unfortunately a lot of lockouts, a lot of people going on strike until we get this solved.
All right. Ed Butowsky, thank you so much for joining us. Boy, don't we wish we could create money out of thin air. That would be nice.
Yeah,
thank you, Ed.
Sure would be.